Okay, guys, so as we all know, this month is Black History Month. Okay, and I want to have a very quick chat with you guys about Black History Month, and I want to ask, and I will start with Nick on this one. Okay. I've not prepared you guys for this one, so I want to get your initial thoughts on this particular question. I want to know, do you think Black History Month is something that should be saved, celebrated, and continued, or as some people are suggesting, it should be scrapped as a thing? What's your view on Black History Month as a celebration of Black history over the course of 30 days?
I would say it depends on why they're cancelling Black History Month. If it's in view to kind of have it as a normal intrinsic part of the curriculum, then I would support that initiative and make it a kind of year thing around the year. You know, it just doesn't have to be specified towards a month. But I think right now I get the need for it in a country which are, you know, deporting some of our Caribbean people, in a country that don't respect us, in a country where Brexit is the leading cause of dialogue. So I think it still does have a necessary staple piece in the country, especially for preserving our culture and protecting our culture. Even Black History Month is being called Diversity Month in some spaces, so we need to reclaim that and have that people accept that Black history is a thing, and it should be celebrated just as much as, you know, Eurocentric history and other histories around the world, before we can then include it in the staples of the curriculum. But I think it is definitely necessary, and especially for the kids, it's definitely necessary.
Kirsty, would you keep it, or do you think that, you know, 30 plus years now it's been in this country, having a designated month to celebrate and acknowledge and learn about Black history isn't something that should be a thing over the course of a month?
I think it definitely should be a thing. I personally wouldn't kind of back any plans to scrap it, because I think we need that visibility. If we take away Black History Month, we're still not going to learn. Like the kids and even adults, we're still not going to get the opportunity to learn and to celebrate Black history and to actually talk about it, because it will just get lost. It will get lost amongst all this other kind of white history, English history that we're taught, and we need that time to actually celebrate our people. Like in school, I didn't learn about a lot of Black history. We watched Roots over the course of a term in my history lesson, and that was what we learned. That was it. That was it. So I didn't learn anything. In primary school, the most I remember is Henry VIII. Our teacher made us write songs about him. So I wrote a rap about Henry VIII.
Teacher went in. Wow. They weren't quite that bad at my school, but that is quite a whole song.
A whole song. I still remember the rap that I wrote for Henry VIII. Henry VIII had 6 wives, 4 of which lost their lives. Only 2 got beheaded and 2 died, but only poor Catherine Parr did survive.
All I knew was divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived.
Okay. But like that's what I learned, and I think that this visibility, it needs to be there, so the kids can actually actively seek information, actively go to events, to debates, to all these kind of things, to actually learn and feel like they're celebrated in a country where we're often overlooked.
Do you agree that, you know, there still is a place of relevance for October to be the month where we celebrate and we talk about and we champion Black history?
I 110% agree, mainly because we are in no way in a position within our social structure to take away our history. We are not even in mainstream history. So this one month that is reserved for us should be hyped more, should be everywhere in every sort of media, because even though we have Black History Month, the history that we have here in the UK is so wide and diverse, and yet we always talk about American history. We always teach our kids, oh, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. We never teach them our people who we need to celebrate. And I think that's just it's a very clever British thing to do, to say, let's scrap it because, you know, you are in our history, which is absolute false.
But to be fair, there's some people that I'm hearing who are Black who are saying the counter argument to what you guys are saying is that it feels almost like the system being, we'll give you this month to celebrate your people and all that, but December the 1st, back to normal, get back in your box.
But the thing is, if it was scrapped, it would be back to normal anyway.
Yeah,
and
for
the
the
thing
whole
is,
year.
even the BBC, even though they're not perfect in any realm, I would say that they did a Black History in the UK last year, I think it was. I learned so much about Black British history that I did know, but I've overlooked or forgot. And there was a Black in Britain series that followed like the Caribbeans and the influence that we had there, and then why we were moved there, what happened to the area, and all that kind of stuff like that. So I think, like you just said, it's so Americanized anyway. There's so much still to learn about our history, and to then feel a sense of pride. Even the Black Lives Matter, it's so US centric and all of that kind of stuff. So we need to educate ourselves and educate our kids and educate our cousins, whatever, about our history. If we scrap it, they will get no in terms of support in that. Look at YouTube's Black History Month they did last year. It's not, I don't think it's here this year. So it's so quick to kind of move, and the pendulum and all that in terms of white spaces and when they want to support us and when they don't. So we have to have this month just to at least encourage us to build those establishments, build those events, and really network with our community.
Yeah, I also think that the question shouldn't be, should we take away this month because we can put you in the mainstream history. It should be, actually, maybe we should extend it. Maybe there should be, October and November, or maybe autumn, right? Maybe let's make autumn. And before you know it, we are, it's a day-to-day.
Well, I was going to ask, after 30 plus years of having a designated month for our people's history, shouldn't by now it just be a thing of throughout the year we learn something about Black people's contribution to the country, as opposed to one designated month?
It should be, but I think what we are fighting isn't just one man on the other side, it's a whole societal structure. And so the reason why I say we need to increase it, it's okay, we have October, but maybe there could be something happening in November, or maybe there's something else happening in December. And so I think we need to almost crawl our way into society so that we are at the forefront.
2, 3 months, 4 months.
And I think there was a massive hoopla about how September issue we had like magazines like Vogue, Elle, we had all these magazines
Girl Dem,
black,
Take Over,
black women at the forefront of these things.
100%.
And that was incredible. But even though it's like, okay, these black women will be at the forefront, but when you look inside, how many black women are there that we see? But then precisely. But then when we see, like, I have subscribed to Vogue now in support of Edward Enninful because I look through the pages and I'm telling you, it's not just one black woman at the cover.
There's a presence throughout.
There is a presence throughout, and it's amazing what he's doing. That's just one black man. Now imagine if we have October, but we're spilling in different spaces in different months. And so just to scrap it, I think is going backwards. Rather than scrapping it, we should be adding more months to Black history.
I mentioned December the 1st, so I meant November the 1st, of the Black of October. What are the things that you personally would like to know more of in regards to Black history? Are there things that you would like to be informed more about? Things that you seek to learn more about your people's history?
I think like Ray was saying, we don't learn enough Black British history. Is quite Americanized. Even the little that they teach us in schools or that we may go online to search about, I would personally like to know about, Black British icons, people that have paved the way for, us to be here today, and various things like that. I want to learn more. I'd like to go to events. I like interactive learning, so something that you can actually get involved in and you're not sitting there being lectured at about a topic that happened so many years ago. You want to feel excited, you want to feel interested to learn about these very important kind of moments in time and these people, because it is obviously kind of paved the way.
And I guess it's important who's teaching that history as well, because as you mentioned at the start, if it's white people teaching black people about Black history, that's different to black people teaching young black people about Black history as well. Just finally, guys, question for all three of you: who are the modern day Black role models that you guys look at and think he or she is doing great things for Black culture and Black people, and across any field? Are there people that you see out there that you feel, in 100 years' time we'll be talking about him, her, and their contribution to our culture and to culture, period?
I would say, I think I've mentioned before, Akala. I would say Reggie Yates. I'd say Trevor Nelson. I'd say across the pond, Karen Civil. I'd say what Joe Budden's done, his business moves in the podcasting industry, huge, like crazy. I think there's so many to name, so many, and I can't. There's so many I can't even think of. But the Grapevine TV as well, like what they've done. What you're doing is inspirational as well in the UK.
Trying to.
Yeah, I just think we need these conversations, and I think it's so important. So yeah, those off the top of the head, but I've got so many more.
I would say like Stormzy as well for our generation.
Yeah.
I think he's only kind of in his prime at the moment. He's still young and he's done so much already, helping people, paying for people's tuition, setting up things with universities, just giving people opportunities. I think even if we want to stay in the kind of music industry, Kreps and Conan, they're starting as well with their restaurant and the help that these young black men are giving out and the platform that they have, the fact that they're using it for something good. I think the younger generation that listen to their music, I think they're being inspired by them, and I do feel like in years to come they will be seen as icons for what they've contributed.
Can I just quickly say as well, black women in the UK, like they've done bits this year, the C's podcast, like all of that, they've done bits, like they're leading the way in the UK right now.
Definitely.
Like,
That's my like main interest in it. I've seen so many British black women, whether it's Clara Anvil or June Sarpong, like the likes of Patricia Bright on YouTube, and it's sometimes not about our history, but also our current
what we're
and
doing
our
now.
modern, what we're doing now, because we don't realise how much visibility we're showing young kids, and in 10, 20 years' time, we will be the ones who will be at the forefront. So it's always quite good to have that at the back of our heads when we're creating our content and when we're talking to young kids, because essentially we have the space and the platform, and we don't even have a learned experience. This is our lived experience.
100%.
We need to be as authentic as possible, so that when there's a young black kid who wants to get into chat shows, he could be like, well, I was listening to Blakademik when I got that inspo, and that authenticity in yourself needs to be there. And I think, like black women for me this year, I'm just
on top, no doubt. See, that wasn't so bad, was it, guys?
No,
Put you on the hop, that wasn't so bad,
I was a bit nervous because we didn't know what was coming.
Thank you very much, guys, anyway. Appreciate that. Thank you. Cheers.